I want to talk about an idea that I'm really passionate about. You see, when it comes to people who come into the world of offshore, or really the world of anything, there are two types of people. There are decision makers, and there are option collectors. And in the sort of Dunning-Kruger effect, what I found in my experience, both with family and friends and with people who come to Nomad Capitalist, is that the option collectors seem to believe that they're making decisions, and the decision makers never quite feel like they've done quite enough. You know, one of the things I've seen over my 12-year journey, building up my passport portfolio, building up the portfolio of places where I live, where I like to spend time, where my businesses are based, doing everything that I've done to be able to keep more of my own money, live a life of freedom, grow wealth faster, and be happier than I would have been had I stayed in one place. All of that work took time. But if I was honest with myself, I would admit that the work I did in the earlier part of those 12 years was not nearly as productive as the work I'm doing now. And what I've seen as I've met more and more successful people at higher and higher levels is the more successful you are, the more compellingly you make a decision like that. I look at my history, about 12 years now. If you came to me and said, Andrew, I want to be where you are today. I want the banking portfolio. I want the passports. I want the residencies. I want the homes. I want to figure out where I've got to be. I could theoretically get you there in probably just over a year, or at least most of the way there. I could get you all the way there in 2 or 3 years, what took me 12 years to do. Now, let's be honest, the resources that are available online now, the democratization where so many people are digital nomads and global citizens, that did not so much exist when I started, and so I had a bit of a disadvantage. But the biggest disadvantage I had was not what was available to me, because people have been doing this stuff for a long time. Passports have been for sale, banks have been open. The real issue was I wasn't as committed to my success. I was focused on collecting options. Now, you are the beneficiary of that, because 100 some countries later, I can tell you what's happening on the ground in a lot of places. I've built a network of hundreds of people whom I trust, and plenty of other people who couldn't get the job done. So now I can share with you what I think really works. And so what I've seen, even in some of my closest friends, is they're so focused on being Columbo. They get an option, and then they have one more question, and then they put it to the side for a moment, and then they, relax, and they're busy, right? We all know how we're busy. I'm busy. I can't be doing anything. I'm busy. We're all busy. And then, okay, then you become a little bit less busy, and then you go out. Well, I don't like that option. Let me collect a new option. Options for many people are the crack cocaine. It's an addiction for some people. And what I've seen with having over 100,000 applications from folks over the last couple of years at Nomad Capitalist is the people who win are the ones who have an end result in mind. The shiny object doesn't matter. The doodad, Panama company, Samoa company, Hong Kong company, doesn't really matter. Their goal is, I want to save tax. I want asset protection. I want to stop filling out so many dumb forms. Or I want higher quality banking. Those are their objectives. Not, I was researching Panama and I think that that's interesting. Listen, no doubt there are people watching who will disagree. Feel free to leave a comment below. I want to hear what you think. But my approach, someone very well defined, is left brain and right brain. There's only a certain amount of left brain analysis that can be done before we collect options, before we descend into options collecting. That's where so many people get stuck, because when you're addicted to collecting options, the option collecting never stops. I remember when I decided to become a citizen of St. Lucia, it was hard for me. The first second passport I got was really hard. It took me a long time. I dilly-dallied around. I collected options. I remember way back when talking about getting a Dominica passport. And just, this is like almost 8 or 9 years ago. And I was just all over the map. Finally, when it came time to get one of my more recent passports, which is St. Lucia, I remember the BBC had called me and they were interviewing me about economic citizenship. I said, I'm strongly considering becoming St. Lucian. And then they quoted me. I read the article. Mr. Henderson is in the process of obtaining, and I remember talking to my girlfriend at the time and telling her, I said, well, I guess if the BBC said it, I should probably do it. And she's like, yeah, you should do it. And it was a little scary. I mean, parting with $100,000, even if you have it, even if it's not that big a part of your world, it's a lot of money. You think of all the things you could do with $100,000 in exchange for just getting a passport. But I said, you know what? I don't want to be an option collector. This is something that I need. It's going to fit into my plan. It's going to help me. And ultimately, it helped me in more ways than I even knew at the time, which is often how this works. But I said, yeah, you know what? I'm not going to go and wait and see what happens with these new laws that might change in Grenada in 60 days. I don't want to wait. If Grenada is such a great deal, I'll do that one again. I'll do that one too later. I said, let's do it. And I called up the guys who, one of the guys who I trust for economic citizenship, and I said, I want you to be my agent. Let's do it. Let's go. And that's all there was to it. In the course of an afternoon sitting in a hotel room, I decided that I was going to go and spend $100,000+ to become a St. Lucian citizen. And again, I think that decision has paid great dividends, not only in travel, not only in financial benefits, not only in just being able to do certain things that I didn't know at the time. But had I waited for, well, let's see what happens with this option, or let's see what happens next, I just wouldn't have gotten to the place where I've been. And so I think that that's the key. The decisions that you make today, you don't know all the positive ways that they're going to impact your life. What you do know, and what I've learned from personal experience and from watching so many other people, is that you do want to make a definitive decision. I understand all the excuses, believe me, and I'm going to call you out on this a little bit. I understand all the excuses because I've made them myself in past times. I understand you're a savvy shopper. You don't just make decisions quickly. You want to sleep on it. I know, you want to be smart. I get it. And that comes from a position of fear to a certain extent. It comes from a position of wanting to be right and wanting to feed the ego of being an intelligent person. I understand. Listen, if you're watching this, you're an intelligent person. Dumb people aren't trying to figure out how to diversify their lives all over the world. What I want to inspire you to do is what I think almost no one else in this business is inspiring you to do. Everyone else wants to sit down and say, here's a list of 6 options. People come to me and say, Andrew, can I get a list of options? No. We can go through a process of eliminating everything but the best possible things for you. We'll go through it and we'll figure out everything down to the one thing you need, or the 2 things you need, or whatever number of things you need. We're going to get it down to that. We're going to get rid of all the stuff that doesn't work for you, all the stuff that kind of sort of works for you, all the stuff that almost works for you. Oh, but we're going to get rid of all of it. Because if I let you sit and stop researching on the internet and then just start researching with me, you'll just go back into research mode. I've seen this many times. So the bottom line is, I want to help more people break this crack cocaine addiction of collecting options, of always having one more question, of never being quite there. Oh, I'm so close, believe me, I just want to do it. I want to do it, but I can't. I want to do it. No, you don't want to do it. Because people who do it, do it. They're the decision makers. They're the ones who are getting success in this and any arena. So I implore you, stop collecting options. Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson from Nomad Capitalist. I wrote this book, which you can find on Amazon, to distill a lot of the stuff we talk about in these videos and a lot of the stuff I've learned over the last decade plus traveling all around the world, teaching you about how to legally reduce your taxes, build your personal freedom, and create wealth faster. Definitely get a copy of this book if you want to learn more. Now, if you want to watch more videos, make sure you subscribe to our channel and make sure you click the notifications bell so you never miss one of our new videos with more tips on how to go where you're treated best. And if you're already a 6- or 7-figure entrepreneur and you'd like to put these strategies in place for yourself, go to nomadcapitalist.com and learn about how I can help you.